Alright, back again to take a look at the stuck carburetor. What I'm guessing is a stuck carburetor throttle plate after doing some research on this Honda XL250S. As you just saw in the earlier part of the video, the throttle linkage is stuck, nothing really moves. Even when I move the carburetor directly, trying to move the throttle plate, it doesn't work as well. It's just stuck. Just doesn't move. So I'm going to take off this boot right here and spray inside there and see if I can loosen up the throttle plate that way. Looks like it's pretty easily accessible through this hose clamp right here. Let's get started on that. Well, the good news is, with some of the oil leaks down there, the hose clamp came off easily, but look how junky this stuff is. Obviously, while it's out, I'll give it a clean. More time spent on stuff I didn't intend to, but that's okay. This normally goes in here, but I pulled it out for what I'm doing right now. And the boot I just showed you with the gunk falling out seals up into this circle here, this metal frame. So when I twisted the hand throttle, that cable you can see there above the black spring retainer, that part's flexing and moving. So that's the part that's trying to spin it, but it doesn't spin. It's like it's, I don't know if it's stuck open or something. Oh, it feels really grainy and gross. I have to try lubing it or something. I mean, I don't really know what's wrong with it, but I use enough PB Blaster that I stopped buying the spray cans. Bought this huge gallon, or I don't know, several gallon jug of it, how much, and refilled this small spray bottle instead. No aerosols that way, and it's a lot cheaper. Good thing about this spray bottle is you can adjust the type of stream you get. Well, I gotta be honest, this carb is pretty old as it is. I was considering, even before this throttle problem, just getting a new throttle. Or getting a new carb, rather. But that seems like the cheating easy way out right now, and I think I better figure out what's wrong with this throttle cable actuation first before I spend money on a carb. So more to come after I have some more thought about this. Alright, well, I figured it out probably about 15 minutes slower than many of you viewers did. This plate here that I can move with my finger is actually the choke. I'm moving the choke right now, up and down, like this. And of course that moves the choke plate. That's working as designed. And then I just noticed that the throttle, as you probably saw as well, seemed to be on its stopper at idle, so that was right. But I ended up just taking my fingers, and after some PB Blaster spraying, I just twisted this as hard as I could with my fingers clockwise, and that did it. It broke it loose. I could feel it break loose. And then I realized, okay, so this is the actual throttle, which is buried somewhere in the carb. I believe it's a throttle plate that slides in and out. Once I broke it loose, I kept the choke all the way open, sprayed it with even more PB Blaster and more of the linkages here, and I tried to get inside past the choke plate by spraying the PB Blaster in sideways. And now, as I twist the throttle, The linkage works as designed, as you can see. And the more I do it, maybe it's making a little bit better of an effect as well and getting a little bit better. So it's kind of back to, I guess, what was normal. This throttle has never had a really good snappy return spring or return ability, but now at least it's rideable, and I don't feel like I'm going to break the throttle cable by twisting it too hard on the throttle, on the hand throttle. So again, PB Blaster doesn't owe me anything, and I don't owe anything to PB Blaster, but it seems like they may have done it again with freeing up something that I was ready to write off and buy a new one. So thanks, PB Blaster. I used to use WD-40 for this, you know, years and years, like decades ago, for something like this, but PB Blaster just seems to have the ability to free up old, decrepit stuff a lot better than WD-40, which has its own purposes. So if you don't use PB Blaster, I would use it. Thanks to the BMW repair shop I used to work at that introduced me to it. Doesn't smell very good, PB Blaster, but it works fantastic. So that's done. I'm going to keep spraying inside a little bit, and then I'm going to try firing it up and see if it will allow me to blip the throttle at all with my new and somewhat improved, although still leaky, exhaust repair. So let me spray a bit more, and then the next thing you'll see is me firing it up, hopefully. Choke. Alright, time to cheat with some starter fluid. I hope the smoke is just PB Blaster burning off. No choke now, it's all the way down. Oh, that's very satisfying. Still super loud, but very satisfying. Man, I better check the oil level. That's a lot of blue smoke. Very satisfying. I'm kind of concerned about the blue smoke. Hopefully that's just PB Blaster burning off. I'm going to check the oil level though. Alright, lots of oil. Whew, alright. So hopefully it's just PB Blaster. I think this calls for a ride in the alley. See how it responds. And clean up all this PB Blaster spillage on the floor. Another thing I'm going to do to this bike is give it a good chain lube. I actually did a little bit of it earlier, a few days ago when I stopped filming, but today I want to do it again and show you guys, just to highlight the importance of using a wax-based chain lube so it doesn't collect dust and dirt, and keep your chain lubed up and rust-free. So I'll show you how to do that in a sec while it's rolling, but right now I'm just going to get it out onto the alley and give it a spin. I'm really excited to know that this thing's gonna run great all season long now, at least I hope so. The twist to the throttle means instant response. I'm amazed that it was actually kind of very little work required to fix it, and as you can see, I'm not super experienced on these carbs, but it rides fantastic, and it's kind of embarrassing, if nothing else, that it's been sitting idle for so long. The only outstanding issue, besides routine maintenance, but the only drivability or rideability issue left with this thing is the startup. It should not need starter fluid to start up, at least from what I know. I'm kind of surprised that that matters, but once it's warmed up it starts fine. It's just when it's cold it always needs starter fluid. Probably a carb issue, but also probably not something I'm going to worry about. Worst case is I bring starter fluid with me when I ride it, or I just roll it down a hill and bump start it using the momentum to get it going again. So anyway, really excited for it. I'm going to put it back where it is. I'm going to take it up to Wisconsin Memorial Day at this point with my brother-in-law and ride around the trails up there, because I did not expect to be riding this Memorial Day, but it looks like I can be. This is my only bike that I have remaining right now, so I'm glad it worked out and glad it's running again. Stay tuned for more videos from Mind of Matter, and stay tuned especially for the riding video coming up with this one in a few weeks' time. Thanks for watching so long.